can't waste any review on us just talking off mic.
I know, I should not even mention it until now. Sam, I watched the movie.
Good, that's the point of the podcast.
Excellent. Yeah, I watched it yesterday when I messaged you, and I think it's really charming because that's what you said.
It was so charming, and
so it's really cute.
I don't know. I don't want to be one of those like horror purists and say, I don't think this counts as horror, but I don't know if it counts as horror.
I was actually thinking about that yesterday, and I was like, huh. And I was like, did we just watch a movie that wasn't a horror movie? And I thought about it for a while, and I wasn't sure what the answer was.
I've been thinking about it all week. TikTok sold this to me as a horror movie, and instead I was just charmed the entire time.
I was charmed and I was laughing a lot, and I was like, this is so funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, is this a dark comedy? Because there are deaths.
Right.
Spoiler alert.
Right.
So I don't know. But do deaths count as horror, or is that just whatever? Is it funny?
That's a good question. You know? But that's a good segue into this week. We're reviewing Dave Made a Maze. Dave Made a Maze is a 2017 American fantasy adventure comedy horror film directed by Bill Watterson and starring Nick Thune, Mira Rohit Kambani, Kirsten Vagness, Stephanie Elaine, James Urbanek, and John Hennigan. Why can't people just have the last name Smith?
I know. John Smith. Come on.
The film centers on the titular Dave, who builds a cardboard fort that somehow supernaturally houses an entire labyrinth full of deadly traps and creatures. Now, I'm very curious. Bill Watterson. Yeah. Is that the fucking Calvin and Hobbes guy? Or is it just a coincidence?
Bill Watterson, as in, who was he? The writer? What did you say? I'm sorry.
He's the director.
Oh, I don't know.
Or do they just have the same name?
Possibly.
I thought he was elusive. I'm gonna guess they have the same name.
You know how many people have the same name as you and I in this world?
Actually,
have you ever looked that up?
Yeah, I have. Me. I'm the only one.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What? That's amazing. There's like 17 other
message redacted.
Edit that out. Stormy Skies in the world.
Yeah, I did look it up. In America, there's only one of me. However, this is a story I haven't shared on the podcast because it's kind of weird. And I don't know if he's still keeping track of me or anything. Since I am the only me, I am very Googleable. In Kenya, there is a black Sam Odie. Yeah. Have I told you this story?
I remember. Yes, now I remember very vividly about this story. Did he like reach out to you or something?
No. So
okay.
I discovered him when I was like 17 in high school, and Google still had the I'm feeling lucky feature. And I just wanted to see what would happen if I searched myself. And instead of pulling me up, it pulled up the black Sam Odie. And I thought that was hilarious because I'm a white girl in America and he's a black man in Africa. I thought we could have this nice little inside joke between each other.
Yes.
But he wanted more than that. And
yes.
It was fine until he said something along the lines of, I love you through your pictures. And I was like, you know what? He's wanting a little more than just an inside joke. So I unfriended him. I think he has a SoundCloud now. So if you look into this, check out his SoundCloud.
Cool. Yeah. Give him some support, guys.
He's my namesake. That's what he used to call me. His namesake.
It's a very special thing to find another of the opposite gender with your same name.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
It is really funny. That's a cool story. Yeah.
Okay, so the director is not the Bill Watterson of the Calvin and Hobbes comics. Little sketchy that he's using that name, knowing how much weight it has in the world. But I guess if it's his birth name, that's fine. It's just
that's okay.
It's just not good for like SEO, I guess, if you have the name of someone much more famous than you. As we know in You season 2, spoilers, Joe's ex-girlfriend Candace goes by Amy Adam because that's almost ungoogleable.
I see.
But yeah, I guess let's get into this because David's shot is at 6 o'clock.
Yep, so we got about 45 minutes, so let's do it. All right.
Because I'm getting my booster shot today.
Yeah, go Sam.
Get vaccinated.
She's gonna be a superhuman. You're gonna be like you're gonna feel like, wow, I'm a superhuman, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so this movie was very charming. I do appreciate how on Wikipedia it lists horror as last, because to me this is more of a fantasy adventure comedy movie. It's definitely the kind of movie I would love, and going into it, like from the very beginning, I knew I would love it. So I've been curious about Stormy's opinion.
Yeah, so I did think it was a horror movie because that's what we thought it was. And then as I was watching it, I was like, because the way it was described to me, it sounded like it was going to be like House of Leaves, but as a movie. And I was expecting something like really horrifying. And then Sam comes at me. She's like, this is very charming. And I was like, I was like, well, how is it so charming if it's supposed to be very scary? So I was like, I guess it could be both. And the only time it's ever like House of Leaves is I want to say the first 30 minutes, but the rest of the movie really focuses on very different subject matter. So I would be wrong in saying that the whole movie is like the book. It just has different elements that are similar.
Yeah.
The only thing is the Minotaur and the labyrinth.
Right. And
the documentary too. But that's it.
And this Minotaur is fucking ripped.
Is that his real body?
Yeah, probably.
Ooh,
I don't think that's made out of cardboard.
Well, cool. He's like super jacked, so we like the Minotaur.
Yeah, this movie premiered at the Slam Dance Festival in 2017, and it won an audience award for Best Narrative. And I think that's fair. So let's break it down into acting. Everybody, when you get a weird movie like this, the acting's always going to be hit or miss.
Yes.
And I think everybody did a very solid job.
Yeah, everyone was a hit. And what I want to say, and I'll let you go on, is that I don't know if you agree with me, but every character was my favorite character, if that makes sense.
I agree.
Good.
Like I didn't want, after the first few deaths, like everybody who was left after that, I didn't want to die.
Me too. Yeah, because I got to like everyone's personality individually. And I honestly think if I were to pick favorites, the camera crew guy that didn't talk, but shooed like
he was so great.
And then
he did talk.
Yeah, he did talk.
His last line as he was dying was, "I fucked your wife," or
"You fucked my wife." He said, "You fucked my," yeah, because and then the other guy too, who was constantly holding the mic thing straight up in the air. Oh God, I love it.
Yeah, the thing I adore about all of these characters, especially like within the first 30 minutes, is they're all just like chill about their friend Dave being in a cardboard box. Like they don't know what's going on inside that cardboard box right now, because in the living room, it's just tiny. So they're all just like chill about him saying he's lost in there.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, that's just like Dave. So funny. Yeah, but he's actually in crisis mode.
Yeah.
So that is very funny. Super chill.
Yeah. And his girlfriend was fantastic.
Oh my God, I loved her, man.
Yeah. Annie, played by Miss Mira.
Oh, she was beautiful.
Yeah.
Her gigantic eyes are just like so hypnotizing.
And I really like how at first you don't really get what she sees in Dave, because he's a man-child who built a fucking cardboard fort in their living room. But then by the time you get to the end, you see what they love about each other.
Yeah, they have such great development as a couple within this movie. And you can see that, like, in the beginning, she's like annoyed, but like as they learn about what's happening, like they love each other so much. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. So she comes home, segueing into story.
Yeah.
And there's a cardboard fort in the middle of her living room. And I get the vibe from the beginning that he wasn't sure if she was coming back. Like they probably had a fight or something about their future. And she comes home and he's like, "Hey, I'm lost." And tells her to call his friends over, and she does, and one tries to help him get out, but it's unsuccessful.
Mm-hmm.
And so she ends up throwing a party, or they had a party planned, and he's still in the box. And finally, she forms a rescue team to go in there and get him with a camera crew in tow to film the documentary of them rescuing him from the cardboard fort, which is bigger on the inside.
Yes, absolutely. And thus the labyrinth is made clear that he's built a labyrinth, so it's bigger on the inside than on the outside. Very scary stuff.
The difference between a maze and a labyrinth is labyrinths often have traps.
Yes, because they're meant to, like, the reason why there's a labyrinth built, and they touch on this, is because whenever there are minotaur, it's hard to defeat one. So what you do is you trap it in this maze forever, and you build the booby traps, and then it becomes a labyrinth. So that's why there's the traps there. It keeps something in.
And naturally, there is a minotaur in this labyrinth.
Of course.
That's chasing them down and trying to
eat
kill them. And they kind of decide the best way to escape the minotaur is to help him escape, because that's the only way they can think to save themselves.
Yes.
I think that pretty much covers the story. And these are more production notes, but it's so hard to talk about the story without talking about the set pieces in this movie.
Right.
This movie is so fucking delightful to look at.
It is. And whenever you told me about the set pieces, they hadn't yet gone into the labyrinth yet. It's so detail oriented. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
Everything is made of paper and cardboard products, to the point that you believe that you could probably craft this yourself using just recycled cardboard and the materials in the movie. And I'm sure a lot more went into it besides cardboard.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But you can't tell. It's so beautiful.
It's so well made, yeah.
So the set designers deserve all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah. And I know we've been saying that it's like a cardboard fort, but some of the rooms are like have like different stuff on them, and you know, it's different sizes. And there's this one room they go in where, like, the way the camera set up, stuff that's really close to the camera is actually really tiny, and stuff that's far away looks small, but it's actually huge, you know, like an optical illusion. So it's very clever. And that is very cool.
Yeah. Listeners, you're probably thinking to yourself, if you don't watch this movie, why can't they just use a box cutter to cut their way out of the cardboard labyrinth? Well, the labyrinth is alive, and if you try and cut your way out of it, it's going to collapse on you and try and kill you.
Yes, exactly. So, alas, can't do that, because they try to do that, and then it gets dangerous, because it's described as, like, there's a lot of rooms, but it's described as being delicate like a spider web, if you can visualize that. And they've said that it's also dangerous to, like, try to mess stuff up, because the vibrations the minotaur will find, you know what I mean? So it's very tricky to get through.
Yeah, because you don't want the minotaur to find you.
You do not, unless, like, I mean, he's like super banging though. It's like so random. They're like, let's get like a bodybuilder.
And even the minotaur's head is made out of cardboard.
It's so cool. I think my favorite set piece might be the minotaur head, because it looks good. It doesn't look silly. It actually is pretty nice.
Yeah. So they go through the labyrinth, and they pretty quickly discover that it's not just childhood whimsy in this place. It is in fact dangerous when they step on the first trap, which leads to the death of the first character. And again, a production note, but the fucking gore.
Oh yeah, it's so cute.
How they handled the gore was incredible and very on brand.
Yes.
For this movie. If they had gone with a traditional method of, you know, corn syrup and red food dye, I don't think it would have fit as well.
Right.
So when someone dies, their blood is confetti.
Yeah, it's like confetti and like yarn and like glitter. It's really cool.
So the first girl who dies her head gets chopped off and her neck just spews glitter and confetti, which in any other circumstance might be fun, but in this instance, it's horrifying.
Yes. Yeah.
So they learn from that they need to be fucking careful. And while all this is going on, 2 other people go off and get themselves killed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. I don't even really remember who dies because they die very early on, so they don't have like a huge like attachment to the audience that much, but they do have very clear characterization. Like the one girl whose head gets cut off, she's like the one that's like, can we go to the maze now? Like, oh my gosh, she's like real ditzy and stuff, and then her head so that's the only one I remember really.
And upon the death of these characters, that's how they learn that the Minotaur exists in the labyrinth, because their bodies keep disappearing, implying that the Minotaur is eating them.
Yes, that is true.
Also, we didn't mention that one of the characters in this movie is just a random hobo who comes along because he knows about cardboard.
Yeah, that's very funny. And then
he kind of has his own journey throughout the labyrinth.
Yeah, he does. It's funny. Does he ever make it out?
No, he died by the cardboard buzzsaws.
That was actually the funny. There are so many really funny things, and one of the funniest things was like when he was dying, his arms were stuck in the buzzsaws, and he was just. It was like this very extensive, like but every time it cut back to him, he was still dying that way. And I'm like, okay, just hurry it up.
So I guess I would classify this as horror just because the deaths, though there is no gore per se. Yeah. They are very brutal.
Yeah, they are.
But since it is not like real gore, it is just confetti and glitter. There's no sex or nudity in this movie, despite what IMDb tells you.
It says like drug use too and stuff. And I was like, where's like none of that happened? I don't think. Yeah.
I would say this is a good starter horror movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because it's more, I would say it falls in the like labyrinth realm of horror.
Right. Yeah.
If you think your kid can handle, there's more sex in Labyrinth than there is in this movie. And no, I'm not saying they have sex in Labyrinth. I'm saying the fucking codpiece David Bowie is wearing is sex itself.
It is sex itself. That's funny. I've not seen Labyrinth, so don't get mad at me. Yeah, dude.
I actually haven't either. I've seen it in passing because my sophomore year roommate was a huge fan of it.
Nice.
So while I was doing homework and she was watching it one day, I kind of watched it in the background.
Oh, I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah. But everybody knows Bowie's look from Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah, they definitely know.
So when they finally reunite with Dave, that's when they kind of get more of an idea of what's going on in this labyrinth, because one of his fucking arms is turned into cardboard because he wasn't careful.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Then there's the room that has the giant vagina. Maybe that's what they mean by nudity, because there's a room that just has a giant pulsating vagina in it.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually thought about that after the fact because I kept thinking about it. And I was like, there's no nudity. And I was like, well, there was the vagina thing. But like, whenever you look at it, you're like, that looks like a cave. And then you're like, oh no, that's a vagina.
Yeah.
Then,
so
yeah.
Because it's just the canal. It doesn't have like the labias.
But if you're a woman and you look at that, you're like, yeah, it's definitely vagina.
So with Dave's help, they're able to better maneuver their way through the labyrinth. There's a really charming part where they turn into paper bag puppets.
Yeah, they do. And I was like, that's funny. And then they turned into regular people again. And I was like, okay, good.
I mean, I was fully on board with a horror movie about paper bag puppets.
Yeah, and that's the only difference between me and Sam is like, there's certain things that I think are cute and stuff that she thinks is cute too, but then like if you push it too far, Sam thinks it's cute still, but then I'm like, oh no, Sam, this is too fucking cute and it's a kid's movie. I'm like, I push it to the extreme.
Just watch a fucking Studio Ghibli.
I know, but I still thought it was funny because the way that they were drawn was cracking me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really liked that because it was just enough. It was just enough.
I hope the actors got to design their own puppet versions of themselves.
Yeah, I think that'd be cute and fun.
See, referring back to Wikipedia as a refresher.
Yes.
So after several more near deaths, they find a puppet version of the first girl who died,
oh my God,
which was
Bryn.
horrifying to look at.
It was. I was like, whoa.
But I loved it.
Me too, because she's like, high five. She was great, actually. I loved it.
And I think she was actually, the actress was wrapped in the cardboard because you could see her real eyes.
Yeah, her eyes. Yeah, for sure. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they can't get past her. She's blocking the way to get out. Mm-hmm. So basically they make a plan to split up. Dave and Annie go to find a way to break down the fort, kill it so they're able to get out and escape. And while they're doing this, the camera crew distracts Puppet Bryn.
Puppet Bryn, yeah.
There's a really weird sequence where Annie and Dave are back in their apartment.
Yeah.
Wearing like an assortment of costumes made of cardboard. And I guess this is supposed to reflect their relationship or something. I'm not sure. That was a very weird sequence.
It was weird, but I did think it was cool because they both had the same conversation, but it shows how it could be taken, different ways. And I don't know why that occurred, but I guess it was to kind of show us, I don't know. It was weird because there was weird stuff happening, like all the stuff on the walls were spinning and things like that. Yeah. So I wasn't sure the purpose, but
yeah, this is a movie I'll have to rewatch just to pick up a lot of the nuances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's cool.
And after this, Dave bestows upon Annie a katana.
Yes.
So they can slice their way to the heart of the labyrinth and kill it.
Yes, of course it's a katana. And I just think that everything that happens is just so ridiculous and funny, but it's like very realistic too. Mm-hmm. Because there's always that one guy, who's like, yeah, I just collect katanas. I think they're cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's that guy.
You never know when you're going to need one.
Yeah. And you know what? It really came in handy. So it's a good thing he had it.
Did. So they make to the heart and she stabs the heart. And I loved this sequence so much because the heart starts spinning and it has all these paper mache kings on it, like the kings on playing cards.
Yeah.
And they start dancing. And I don't know if it was CGI or practical effects, but either way, it looked incredible.
Yeah, it was so cool. So someone had to really take the time to do all that.
And while all this is happening, Gordon is trying to distract the Minotaur by leading him away from the heart so they can finish killing the labyrinth. Mm-hmm. And that's where we run into the cardboard buzzsaws that kill the homeless guy.
Yeah.
It was just, this movie is so fantastic, even if it's not straight horror.
Yeah, it is. It is a good one.
When the labyrinth is destroyed, they're back in their apartment and it's covered in cardboard. So they
just clean it up.
Yeah, they clean it up. They toss it in recycling, as you do.
Of course.
And the filmmaker tells Gordon that he should inform the families of those who died.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, okay.
How do you have that conversation? Unless this movie takes place in a world where shit like this happens.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm gonna guess it does because they're all way too chill about it.
They're super chill. And
Dave suggests that they call the documentary Dave Made a Maze.
Yes.
Even though it's a labyrinth.
Yes, yes, that's true. And then cleverly enough, that is the name of the movie.
Yep. And the Minotaur has also escaped and he walks into the sunset.
Yes, he does. Out of the recycling area.
And that's the movie. I loved it.
Me too.
It should be on a major streaming network. It's a bummer that, not to put down Tubi or Peacock or IMDb TV, but you don't really talk about people using those streaming networks.
Uh-huh.
So a nice, weird little movie like this is going to get overlooked.
Yeah, you're right. And that stinks.
And this is something I would want to write.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna give it an yeah. I won't say it fucked me up, but it was definitely a very pleasant watching experience.
Yes, I had a pleasant time. So I am very delighted by this little delightful little movie.
So we talked about production already, kind of.
Yes.
Because the set is just so good.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's so good. Unbelievably good.
Like, I'm so impressed. I wish I could build a fort like that.
It must have taken a really long time to really put the thought into how all the rooms were going to look and how different they were.
Their cardboard budget must have been insane.
For real, I know.
There's no production notes on IMDb, which is disappointing because that's what I want to know most is
yeah.
How were these sets built? How much did the cardboard cost? Did you just like raid stores? Because every time David and I move, we usually stay up super late so we can go to Walmart at like 2 a.m. when they start restocking the shelves.
Yeah.
And just ask for boxes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they definitely will just get recycled anyway.
Yeah. So did they do that? I want to know these things.
They probably do, because whenever I used to move around, I always worked in retail. So you literally just take boxes from work.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So if you can't find boxes, just ask store employees. And usually if they have them, they'll be like, yeah, go ahead.
They'll say yeah. And they'll tell you where the, freight door is and go give you a big box of boxes, man.
Yeah, that's the ABC the ABC liquor store did that for us.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Just let us take as many as we need.
Yeah, one time the campus that I worked at, like that, they gave me boxes from the bookstore because anywhere that gets a shipment of stuff, they're gonna have some boxes. Anything
else about production? The gore was fun.
Yeah, it's hard to talk more about production since they were in the same setting most of the time. The setting did change, but we're just discussing that the production overall, it was so different in every room that everything was great. Like the lighting, the sound was great. There was one instance early on, and it did not happen again, that the music was too loud and people were talking. And I don't know when it happened very, very early when they all were in the labyrinth in one room and the girl was talking and the music was on. And I was like, shit, the music is a little bit too loud. Yeah. That's it. It didn't happen again. That's it. That's all. I don't have anything bad to say or anything to judge about it. But I guess at this point, we can talk about the realistic aspects if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming home after a long day of work and finding a cardboard fort in the middle of your living room.
Yeah, and then trying to do yoga and just like having a fail. I'm sorry, can you hear that? Yeah. I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second. I'm so sorry, but I have to go make sure that she's okay. Hang on. Okay, I am back. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Just cut out that moment of like quiet silence.
It's all good.
Unless she talks. Okay, cool. Sorry, but Shadow has been like not attacking Pepper, but he's trying to play. And Pepper's really dramatic, so she'll like do that. But then sometimes I feel like she might actually be injured. So I have a paranoid moment. I was like, oh, I gotta go spray him with the water spray. Okay, cool. Anyway, I'm back. Hi, sorry. So realistic aspects.
Talked about the cardboard fort in the middle of the living room.
Yep, trying to do yoga and you can't do yoga. And then like, if you're stuck in the cardboard fort, being horrified that when you made this and went in, you got lost. But there's something about, he was like, I haven't eaten for 3 days. He didn't like get hungry or like, he didn't look very tired when they all went in there to go get him. He was like pretty chill. And I was like, oh, all right, I guess we're cool. But that would be pretty horrifying.
Just being lost in a maze, because we've all done corn mazes.
Oh yeah.
Those are spooky.
Yeah, and really legit, like being lost, like, oh shit, I have actually been stuck in here for 3 days. Oops. Yeah, that's a problem. I would say having people die in your apartment, isn't that's like a big problem, and you would have to like deal with the authorities.
Yeah, but luckily the Minotaur ate them, so.
Oh, wouldn't that be a bigger problem because their bodies are gone? Right?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to handle it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's Gordon's responsibility now.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't even think about that. Holy crap, dude. Okay. Shit. That's like that would become an investigation into their apartment.
And no, there's a documentary. There's so much video evidence of it.
I know. And he was like, I'm responsible for the people that died. And it's like, you just like said you're guilty. What the fuck? He did though. I was like, oh my God. He did, dude. All right, well, anyway.
I guess being turned into a cardboard puppet saying high five on a loop. High five?
Yeah. But it was really funny. He was like, are we good? And she's like, yeah, we're good. High five. Like, I don't know. It was just cracking me up one way or another. It was just, yeah, cute shit.
Oh, and after they got out of the maze, Dave's hand was still cardboard.
That means it really happened.
Yeah, that's going to be rough in life.
How are you supposed to like go get a job anywhere? No one will hire you. Are you?
You can't take something out of the oven now.
Oh my God, yeah, because it's like flammable.
Yeah.
Right?
He's going to have to get that taken care of.
I know. Wow, he really is going to have to do that because like shit. Oh my God. That's like a disability now. So he can probably, well, who will believe him? But like, that's not really
his arm is made of cardboard. Who's not going to believe him?
I don't know. They're going to be like, stop pretending. Get that stuff off. And he's like, I can't take it off. And it's like, yes, you can. And what if someone tries to rip it off, but they'd be ripping off like skin? Or to just be like, oh
I bet it would hurt.
Yeah. Would you feel it?
Probably. I don't know. Would you? There's no blood flow. But he could still move it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, that's actually pretty scary. So this might actually be a real horror movie because of the aftermath.
Yeah. The missing bodies, the cardboard hand.
Yeah, missing bodies, your hand is cardboard. A documentary that says that you're guilty.
Wow.
Yeah, so actually all this realistic stuff is the real horror show because no one wants to fucking go to jail for accidentally even making an art project. I mean, on purpose, but like it was not supposed to be like that, like a death maze, because it's once referred to as a death maze, which is funny.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a realistic aspect when you try and make an art project and it turns into a death maze.
Yeah, because when that stuff happens, we all know how any artist, of course, they've had that happen once or twice, and you just know that it's just awful and it's just a nightmare.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Like for real. What else? I guess rekindling your relationship is a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's nice. I guess their friends died, so like their friends are actually dead, so they can't hang out anymore. So that's pretty scary.
Yeah. But I think that's all I've got.
Wait, they released a Minotaur into the world, so they actually took like an ancient like mythological creature and now it's in the earth realm, so that's actually pretty scary,
I guess,
because it will eat you. It can just go anywhere and do anything, unless you can't kill it, unless somebody else, that means that since he's out in the world, somebody else out there has to build another labyrinth to trap it. So yeah, that's how I see it. I think
room for a sequel.
There probably won't be, which is perfectly fine, but if they had to have one, it's set up for one anyway too, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
dude, cool.
But I like this movie a lot. 10 out of 10. Was a good time.
I give it an A++, which is it fucked me up, but we just did a different thing.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Yeah, man. This was a good movie, dude. I'm glad we watched it. So TikTok, never know, but it was a happy surprise because we did think it was going to be horrifying.
Thanks to TikTok for recommending a little-known horror movie that's not Insidious for once.
Does it talk about Insidious a lot?
There are a lot of horror TikTokers that'll do like their top 5 lists of horror movies on Netflix, and Insidious is always like number 1. I'm like, come on. Find something
on Netflix.
Else.
Yeah. And it can be tough though, because Netflix is so limited with popular horror stuff that's been in theaters that I guess like, what else do you pick? I guess try to branch out and become like not such a mainstream become us and watch it from A to Z. Then who's the like horror, master? So until TikTok does that, but no one has done what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
All right, you got those end notes ready so David and I can go get boosted?
Yes, I sure do. Here they are. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Real Horror Show was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. Today, we learned that you should not build a cardboard maze because it will accidentally be too big and you'll get lost. So just be careful. What you should do is if you're going to go in and rescue someone from a maze, always tie a rope around yourself and tie it to, like something else in the room so you don't get lost. You follow the rope back.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. So anyway, that's what we learned, I guess. Like what you hear, you can find Real Horror Show on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter at Horror Show Pod, or search for Real Horror Show on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook at Real Horror Show. Like our page and share our stuff. We also have a website that all of our written reviews and podcasts can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Want to interact with us? Want to make sure we're real humans and not space vampires? Comment on our website or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Want to argue with us about something, or think you have a really great horror movie review that you're dying to share with 2 random strangers from the internet? Submissions are open for movie reviews. Check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric before sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. And we love horror, and if you're listening, you do too. So please help us keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list. If you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would, and the holidays are right around the corner, so buy us a present. Also, you can find the Buy Us a Coffee button on our website. It's a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. And sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And any other pertinent news, Sam?
Not at the moment.
Yeah, Sam's gonna go get her booster. Next week's Thanksgiving. All this crazy stuff is happening. And then we're gonna finish watching Vampire Diaries, but Sam's ahead of me, so everything is just totally crazy right now, you guys.
Totally crazy.
It's just totally crazy. Anyway, so we'll get back on track soon. But other than that, our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Colton. Thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. This is Real Horror Show signing off.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble.
And there's a creepy doll that always follows